story I wrote this week. And there was a Chassid. This is in the days of the Rebbe Maharash, Rebbe Shmuel of Chabad, which is about 150 years ago. And one of his Chassidim was sitting on a train, and the train was about to move. It was a long journey from wherever it's from Peterburg to Lubavitch. It's about a 10-hour train ride. I made the train ride once. 10-hour train ride. So he's about to see, he sits on his place, this Chassid, and suddenly he notices that someone is sitting and looking at him, staring at him. Guy looks like a Jew, he even has a beard. And he comes over to him and he says, "Tell me, are you a follower of the Rebbe Marash?" And he said, "Yeah, yes, I am." He said, "Oh, isn't this amazing that I should see you? I'm on my way to see him now. Isn't this an amazing miracle? I'm on the way." So he says, "Oh, yes." He said, "Can I sit down, please? I'd like to, can I talk to you? I mean, if you don't want, if you don't want me to bother you, I won't bother you." No, he says, "Sit down, sir, tell me, talk." So the train starts moving. And he said, he sets out his hand, he says, "My name is this and this." And it doesn't say the name of the person in the story. It says the name of the Chassid. The Chassid, what was his name? Yehuda Meir or something. I don't remember. Anyway, it says, so this man is telling, this Chassid of the Rebbe is telling a story. He says, "I was brought up in in Russia in a religious family. And I was a genius. In school, I was a genius, and I memorized things no problem, and I understood. And a very religious family. I learned Torah, and all of my teachers said that I was going to be a big rabbi somewhere, for sure. But they were really wrong. They were really mistaken, because I got into with some bad friends, and I started reading these philosophy books. And some of the philosophers were even Jews. And I started all of a sudden using my mind and saying, what is all this religious stuff? God took the Jews out of Egypt, and this is the way I'm going to live my life. And little by little, I got in with these friends, and they were having a good time, and they were just, free thinkers. And I just little by little left Judaism totally. And my parents and my teachers, they were just, so heartbroken, and they were trying to convince me to come back to Judaism, but I already had my mind made up, and I read more and more of these books, these philosophy books, and just opened up a whole new world of learning and understanding. And I mean, it doesn't make any difference that all these philosophy books, then after 10 years, somebody came out and knocked down all the philosophy ideas that the first ones had. But okay. Anyway, so he gets inflamed with all these ideas. And he says, eventually, I just got tired of my parents always nudging me. And then one night just packed up a bag and I just left. And I went to, Moscow or wherever I went to, Petersburg. And I changed my name, and I changed my clothes, and I changed everything. I just left Judaism totally. And got new friends, and I went to university, and I excelled, and I became a doctor, and I married a non-Jewish woman. And I had children, and I was one of the most successful, popular doctors in all of Petersburg. Everybody knew me. All the high-class people came to me, and I was rich, and I had famous and successful. I had everything. And then 20 years went by, and I never once came into my mind, my family, what it was. And one night I had a dream. And I dreamt, and all of a sudden this religious man everything was black in the background. And all of a sudden this old Jew appears in front of me with this beard. And I thought to myself, what is this? And who is this? What's going on? And he said to me, "My son, why did you leave us? What have you done?" So I realized this is my father. This is my father. He said, "You should know, after your parents, after you left us, we've been searching for you. We searched for you for years and years and looked for you, and we didn't find you. You broke our hearts. Come back to Judaism." And then the dream finished. So I woke up from the dream and I was all shaken. And I didn't dare tell my wife. I didn't want to tell her because they didn't even know I was Jewish. Then I changed my name and maybe even changed the religion. So they had no idea that I was Jewish, and I certainly didn't want anybody to know. So I figured, all right, I'll forget about it. But I was really sort of shaken up, I was really shaken for a while. Then, about 2-3 weeks later, all of a sudden I had another dream. And my father came to me again, and it was the same thing. This time he just looked at me and he said, come back to Judaism, come back. And he went away. And so I was really shaken up, but I thought to myself, what's that? Well, what am I so shaken up about? I mean, even when my father was alive, I didn't pay any attention to him. Even if it is my father, I'm going to pay attention to him now. I mean, I left Judaism for a lot of really good reasons. It didn't appeal to me. All of a sudden now, because of people come, let him come to me in the dream, whatever he wants to. I'm not going to, but it really bothered me. I was really very bothered. I tried to forget. And I pretty much succeeded in forgetting it. Put it out of my mind. Then, until the party. There was like a big official or a big duke or something like that. This is all in the time of the Tsar, right? And he made this big party, a birthday party. And I was one of the people that was invited. All the important people, all these royalty was there, and the biggest professors, and they were all there. And I was also there, me and my wife, and we had special clothes made, for it. And we went, and we were very happy. And I figured, this is it. I'm going to forget about all this stupid, dreams and stuff like that. And I went, and everyone was saying hello to me. Everybody recognized me, and I was shaking hands with everybody. And I was making, toasts with everybody and drinking. And they played music, and everyone was dancing. And I was a little bit drunk, to tell you the truth. And they played this sort of really fast polka, this fast music, and I just got into the middle, and I started spinning around and dancing. And all the people made a big sort of circle, and they were all clapping their hands, and they were laughing and pointing at me in agreement and saying, whoa, this is amazing. This is a real doctor, and they're ha-ha, and they were laughing and they were happy. And suddenly I was dancing, and all of a sudden, my father appeared. There he was on the dance floor. And I stopped dancing, and I said to my father, get away from me. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Let me live my life. Get away from me. Keep away. And my father said, come back to Judaism. I took out a pistol. I had a pistol, and I shot him. I shot at him. And everyone went berserk. Women started screaming. Men left the place they were running. A couple of people jumped on me, took the gun away from me. And everybody realized I was going crazy. No one understood. Luckily, the bullet didn't hit anybody. And the people didn't know what to do. I immediately, as soon as they left me, there was no confusion, I ran out of the place. I ran home. I realized I've got to get help. To go to a psychiatrist, I would have to tell them that I was Jewish. To go to a doctor. I didn't want that. I figured the only one that can help me, I have to find a rabbi that knows miracles. Suddenly I remembered Lubavitch. Popped into my mind. I don't know why. Maybe I heard somebody talk about it, maybe. So I immediately took a lot of money, put it in my pocket. I said, I'll go to this rabbi. I'll give him a lot of money, and then he'll give me advice. So I put all the money in my pocket. I took put some clothes in a suitcase, and I ran away, left the house. And I went to the train station, and sure enough, there happened to be a train. I took the train, and I drove. Until finally, the next day, I arrived in Lubavitch. I had to take another train, arrived in Lubavitch. And I immediately went to the Rebbe's secretaries. I asked if I could have an audience with the Rebbe, and they arranged it for the next night. So I went, I rented out a room, and I rested up a little bit, and I washed. I put on this good new clothes I had. And I went into the Rebbe. As soon as I went into the Rebbe, I was like shocked. I saw this person. I didn't really expect this. It was like all of a sudden, I woke up to something. I couldn't really explain what was going on. It was really, but the Rebbe didn't look at me at all. He just stood up, and he went to the window. He pulled his blinds apart, and he looked up, and he said, a man that tried to kill his father wants that I should give him a blessing. Suddenly I realized that the Rebbe, he knew everything. He knew it all. I fell down and I started crying and weeping. I said, Rebbe, please help me, save me. I don't know what I've done. My whole life has just been a big mistake. What have I done? What have I destroyed? I've destroyed my whole soul. I've destroyed everything. So the Rebbe said, don't worry about it. There's a way to fix everything up. First of all, you have to return to Judaism. Go back home. Go back home. Write a bill of divorce to your wife. Give her half of what you've got. Your house, everything. Take all that money that you got in your pocket and use that, and then come back and I'll tell you how to do tshuva. I'll tell you what to do. The man said, that's what I'm doing right now. I went back to my house in Petersburg. I just left my wife everything that I've got. And now I'm on the train going back to the Rebbe. What an amazing Rebbe we have. That's the end of the story. What's the point of the story? The point of the story is that the truth can't be denied. And that's what's going to happen to all the Jewish people. The truth won't be denied. I don't know if our Father's going to come to us in a dream, but nevertheless, suddenly everybody will wake up and say, wow, nothing better than serving the creator of the universe. Okay, see everyone at the 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll learn Chumash and Pirkei Avos and a little bit of the laws of milk and meat. Shalom. Shalom, everyone.